Yeah, today we are going to talk about some tips for beginners, those who want to start running. And just to give a brief intro, I also started my running journey about 3 years back when I was around 49 years old in the month of November 2020. So it's about just little more than 2.5 years since I started my journey. So what are the things which are required before one can take up to running? So of course each person is different, but there are some basic tips which I can provide based on my own experience. And first is that there should be motivation, and the motivation you can always get from somebody else, but the best is self motivation. So if you are planning to start running, you should know why you are running: for the joy of running, because you enjoy something, and of course it also improves the fitness. It is a good aerobic exercise, can be easily done by anyone. We don't need to have too much of investment for that except for a pair of shoes. So first is one has to decide when to run. Generally I prefer mornings because air is fresher, it's cooler, pollution is lesser, there are less traffic on the roads because I like running outdoors, and that is one. And before you start running in the mornings, of course you need a good sleep. So good 7 to 8 hours of sleep is a must. So earlier I had a habit of sleeping late, getting up late. So for the last about 3 years I shifted my sleeping time to around 10 o'clock and then get up at around 5. So at least 7 to 7.5 hours of sleep is required. So you can start running in the mornings. And you can always do indoor running, but if there are no good places, so you also find a good place where you can run, which is safe. So if you have a park nearby your home, that is good. Or if there are some roads which are not frequented by too much of traffic, that also is good. Or inside your community also you can run. And then if you are new to running, always start slowly. So you can always start with a walk and then increase the speed of walking, what is called brisk walking, and then also the distance. So if you are starting freshly, you can start with 2 or 3 kilometers of walk. After about 4 to 6 weeks, gradually you can go up to 5 kilometers. But generally for good health, about 25 to 30 kilometers in a week, that kind of mileage should be fine. And also the pace, you don't have to run at a very high pace. Roughly about once you can reach about 7.5 minutes per kilometer, that's a good pace, which is good for health. Of course if you are taking part in all some athletic competitions, and of course you have to go for pace, but for routine regular running, keep at a pace which is about 80% of your best pace, because that will also keep your heart rate lower, because there is no point going at very high heart rate and getting fatigued. And also the complications of heart and other things are more if somebody runs at a very high heart rate. So always good to have as lower heart rate as possible when you are running. And as you keep running, the heart rate automatically comes down. If you keep running at a lower pace for longer distance, then after 3 to 4 months you will find that your heart rate while running reduces, and also resting heart rate will reduce. Invest in a good pair of shoes and keep changing your shoes after running about 800 to 1000 kilometers, because some people of course can run bare feet also, but most of us require good shoes for running. And hydration is important also. Proper wear, the dresses that you have, shorts and tees, they are sweat absorbing tees, so look at that. You need to track your running, so for that if you have a smart watch, that is good because it gives you heart rate, the pace and the distance also. So Garmin watches are good, but I think there are many smart watches that can give the same statistics, and so that is useful if you want to track over a longer period of time. And if you have any kind of injury, definitely you should take rest and don't aggravate the injury, and so that you recover and then you can always start running again. And minor injuries may happen, but with 2 to 3 days of rest it recovers. If you have severe pain, of course you should consult a doctor or a physiotherapist and get properly evaluated. And then so these are some of the most important things. Of course if you have any comments or queries, you can always type in the comments. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel for similar videos which I will be posting later about other aspects of running. Thanks.